Hello everybody, and welcome to the Room video game collection tour video, whatever you want to call it. We haven't done one of these in 3 years, so I thought since I've been working on the room lately, getting it set up all nice and good, I thought now would be a good time to do a new one of these. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I hope the audio sounds good because I am testing out a new microphone I've got, so let me know how that goes. But yeah, we're going to save the main shelf for last. Most of the rest of the room you guys have pretty much see in videos and stuff, but we'll go through and have a quick look for just the sake of content, I guess. So yeah, as you can see, I've still got lots of crap here on the floor because I am still in the middle of getting this entire room set up. I've still got the box of PS2 shovelware there. The Pong is out on the floor because this thing, I love it. It's one of my favorite things I own, but it's Pong, so you rarely play it, and it needs somewhere to live in the meantime. And I just never have a nice safe place to store it. Once I eventually get my TV unit built and set up, it'll have somewhere to live there. But until then, it's just drifted all over the place. Lots of these bags and stuff, it's just more shit I need to sort. Like this one's full of Wii accessories, spare Skylanders stuff, which this bag's, that's full of superchargers, mostly superchargers Skylanders waiting to be done for the video that I've bought over the last year, just when I see them. This bag is full of all my old composite video cables. And let's take a quick look in here. Oh god, my PSP's down in there. Goodness, I'm a mess. I apologize. In this box is a bunch of stuff I've had here for years. That's either doesn't work or needs to be fixed or fucking god knows what. Now this chest of drawers here, the top of it is just a dumping ground, like any flat surface that you find. Just yep, it's just a good spot to, dump everything there. And these drawers are full to the brim. Let's take a look. There's no organization. It's really a mess. All the cords are tied up so they don't get tangled, which is something, I guess. But everything's just sort of dumped in here with no organization in that one. Oh gosh, it doesn't even fucking shut because there's so much crap in there. Just gotta jiggle it until it'll go in. This one's more Nintendo stuff. It's just a nightmare. All these drawers are nightmares and they're so full, it's not even funny. Now, this is something I bought last year that's pretty cool. Excuse the lighting, it's horrible. Come on, there we go. So this is the Atari Kids controller. I saw this at a market local to me, and I actually got some games for it up there, which we'll look at in a minute. But I knew this thing, and I knew I recognized it from somewhere. It's from an AVGN episode intro. You get a cover with each game that actually goes over the top of this thing. And yeah, it's basically like for kids games, maths games and stuff like that. I got that. I got it really cheap as well, which is cool. And I got it in good condition. Now this one's the Xbox drawer, mostly. God, I'm scared to pull it out too far because it's so heavy it might fall out. This thing, this is the AirPad controller for PlayStation. Hello there! Don't ask me why I bought this thing. We'll get to it in a video someday, I promise. But that's just in there for now, along with U-Draw tablets, and my connectors in there. Now that I have room over there, they're not symmetrical with the window, so I need to empty the whole thing out just so it's light enough to move, and then shuffle it over, and then when I do that and put everything back in, I'll go to the effort to, organize it a bit further and get it nice and accessible. Alright, so next we've got all the TV space, which you guys see pretty regularly, honestly. there's not much special to really go over. Recently, I believe I broke my PS1, which is a shame, because that's my original PS1 from when I was a kid, my first ever console, and I think I broke it. What I was filming a bit for the PS1 glove video, where the controller cable is too short, and I accidentally yanked the thing off the unit. Well, after that, I had to put some games back in to get some footage, and it was doing some weird shit, man. Like, weird glitches I've never seen before. Like, there were some graphics on the screen that didn't render correctly, or there was weird audio issues. Well, fuck! That wasn't meant to happen. So I think I may have broken the thing, which is devastating. I haven't had the time to properly test it and see what the actual issue is. But I do have the PS2 down there, which is what I've been playing PS1 on since it happened, just until I know what's going on. So that sucks. If you saw my FrameMeister follow-up episode, I talked about how this TV only has RF and composite inputs, which is a problem for... Well, it's good because you can plug in light gun games, but that's not easy to connect up with SCART and everything to go into it. Well, I'm a fool. For some reason, I totally forgot the fact that this actually has component inputs, if you can see there. It actually has component inputs. And I've tried it with the PS2 and it worked. It worked really good. For some reason, it like dimmed the image a bit, but I think that's a plus because these games flash a lot, which is what the light gun picks up to detect hits. So the flashing, you know, it's hard to look at when it's bright. So the fact that it dims it down, I haven't fully set it up yet, but we might be onto something with that. Now, I didn't get any good shots of this in the video, but the plans for this corner, now that I've cleared up the space and gotten that shelf out of there, I will eventually build, because I imagine it'll be easier to build something than to buy it, and you probably get a better product as well. I want to build an L-shaped desk in there, pretty much from that point, with the window, all the way around to that shelf. It'll be good. I'll have a lot more surface space for all my bullshit. I'll have room for a second screen. It'll be good. Which brings me to this shelf. This is a display shelf, honestly, for the time being. Let's go in for a closer look, guys. Are you ready? Are you excited? Yeah, I'm not super big into PC games, but if I see something I want, or you know, something from my childhood, I might pick it up. But yeah, for the most part, it's just Sims expansion packs. Of course, I've got all my DVDs down below, physical DVDs. I don't watch a whole lot of those. But again, it's stuff I picked up when I was younger, so might as well put them out there. We'll come back to that in a minute. Over here, all my game, cheat books and stuff. That's my original cheat book, my first ever one I got at school. I've showed that before. All these other ones are like from magazines, 360 magazines. So that's like reviews, complete guide to Bioshock 2, which I've never played, mammoth book of Easter eggs and glitches, and this one, 10,000 achievement points in 24 hours. I plan on putting that to the test one day. And then here I've got all these demo discs. Again, a lot of these are from 360 magazines. This demo in particular is really good. It's got Dirt 2, Fight Night 4, Shadow Complex, Trials HD, Defense Grid. Some really good demos on that. And my Spyro plush that was made for me by Lucy. Thank you, Lucy, for that. And then up here on the top shelf, I've got my Crash Nika figure. I love these figures. I think they're really cool. I just really like. I haven't got any of the other ones just because they're a bit big to display, but I really like this one. These are my Mighty Max toys up here on display. These things are fucking awesome. I bought these when I was a kid. I didn't even know what Mighty Max was. I still don't even really know what it is. But these are some of the coolest toys I think I've ever seen. They open up. There's like all sorts of crazy parts inside. I just love them. They were some of my favorite toys when I was a kid. And I found them like a year ago. So ever since then, they've been out on display. It definitely, even though it's still a bit clustered, I think it looks a lot better than the crappy white shelf that's been there for so long that was just riddled with garbage. So it looks a lot better than that, I think. So yeah. Now, artwork. I took down a lot of artwork, only because, again, it added to the clutter a bit, having so many shapes going on in the background. But I still wanted to keep some up, so we've got some on the door. I got a new one recently for the Call of Duty video. I need to put that up. Sorry I haven't put that up yet, but it's going up there. Alright, now before I move on to the new shelf, we have to talk about that binder. Now this is not an original idea. I've taken this off of many other people, but it's a good idea, right? Inside this binder is all of my loose Game Boy games. This just makes it incredibly neat and easy to store these things. You often see like people that sell these loose carts. They take them to markets and stuff in these binders. These are just regular Pokemon card slips. And yeah, it's just such a nice, neat way than having to fucking spill 50 games out of a container onto the floor every time I want to play a Game Boy game. You know, it keeps them clean, it keeps them safe, it keeps them easily displayed, so I know what I've got. So, let's move on to the big behemoth, the 3-shelf mecca of this room. This ginormous game shelf. It looks really... I built 2 new shelves so that I'd have more room for games. The bloody thing already looks chock-a-block full. Like, it already looks full to the max, aside from the bottom. But there actually is a lot of room to grow, which is what I wanted. So, we'll take a look at everything. We'll start over here, and we'll probably go back and forth a bit. Let's start at the start of video games with the Atari 2600 stuff. This is all just here in the corner. And then, of course, I have my box Atari games up the top, which, if you hadn't noticed, here's Alpha Beam with Ernie, which is a game for that Atari Kids controller. And also Cookie Monster Munch, which is another one. I'm gonna try and get all of these games complete in box. When I get all of them, expect a video. Up top, we have the PS3 collection. This has grown substantially in the last 12 months. Mostly because I had to buy a heap of fucking shit Move games. They were like $1 or $2 each, so I just bought a shitload of them. Dance Star Party, I Create, which is, I mean, I didn't even end up talking about. And then, of course, you know, some bigger games as well that, you know, some staple games for the system, I guess. And on to the PS4 games, which, again, have grown a little bit. The most recent addition to the PS4 games is Sonic Mania Plus. This was staring back at me from my local game store, and it was sealed. It was brand new. It's got the art book in there. I should also say at this point that if you see any games that you've sent in as a donation to the show, thank you so much. It's really appreciated. There's lots here that has been sent in, which is awesome to see. The most recent being today, I got a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 Game Boy Color complete in box, along with Powerpuff Girls Relish Rampage. Which is actually a little bit destroyed.
The Powerpuff Girls Relish Rampage gets 1 out of fucking 10.
So thank you, Radio Shadow, for that. Right, Master System games. I haven't done a whole lot of research on the system yet, so I don't know what games are good and what games are bad. But I've just been picking up things as I see. You know, I've got the Sonic the Sonic Master System games there. Wonder Boy 1 and 3. You know. And of course, the only Sega Game Gear game that I own, Tasmania. It's complete in box. I bought it just for the video because it was cheaper than just the cartridge and cheaper than just the cartridge with the manual. So I was like, fuck it, I might as well get the whole fucking thing because it'll look a lot better to show in the video. And then onto the Mega Drive games, which I haven't bought a Mega Drive game since 2017, and that was Wrestle War. It featured in a testing episode, so go back and check that out. It's a good episode, I think. Now, down here to the PSP collection, which is new. I only just bought my PSP recently. As you can see, it's already fucking been neglected. It's just because it was in that box of PS2 games, that's all. There we go, now it's nice and clean. I needed to get one of these for Hawktober, and I've always wanted one, so I finally got one. Half of these games were donations, so thank you for that, and I've gone out of my way to buy a heap of as well. You know, I had to buy Daxter. I had to buy Crash Team Racing. Tag Team Racing, sorry. You know, I had to buy fucking Tony Hawk, you know. And, oh, of course, Medieval. How could I fucking forget that? And then, right underneath the PSP games is another quickly growing handheld section of Game Boy and DS. In the last year, I've gotten into a really bad habit of wanting to buy Game Boy Advance games complete in box. Just because these are like important games for me. And I don't want them tucked away in the binder. I want them, you know, I want them on the shelf. I want to be able to, you know, look at the artwork and look at the box and stuff. And then here we have this the brand new DS collection. I finally purchased a Nintendo DS. Much like the PSP, I've wanted one of these things ever since I was a kid. And I finally got one. But the special thing about this one is that it's equipped with, I'm not sure if you can really see that. It's equipped for video capture with a loopy capture card. Finally got it sorted. I haven't had a whole lot of time to spend with it yet because it's very new. But from what I've tried of it, it's really cool. The game capture looks amazing. I'm stoked to start playing some of these games. And I'm stoked to start collecting some of these games as well. And again, it opens the door for more videos in the future. And I'm not sure if you can see it behind here, but I also have a little game hidden away, sealed, waiting to be reviewed. We'll get to it. I just need an N gauge. Who has an N gauge that can sell me? Who wants to sell me an N gauge? Let's come back over here. Let's take a look at the Nintendo Entertainment System. Yeah, not a whole lot of games. Again, they're expensive, so I don't buy a whole lot of them. That's my issue with Nintendo games. I love them. My most recent purchase is Simon's Quest, which very nostalgic for me. Of course, being an AVGN fan, so I'm glad to finally have that. But yeah, for the most part, these games are just too expensive. I can't justify the purchase very well, so, you know, I probably get one a year. Like 2018's NES purchase, was Mega Man 2. Haven't got around to playing it yet, but that was fucking hell, all this shit. This is why I don't buy NES games. All this fucking shit falling over. Let's just move on to the Super Nintendo games. Again, I probably buy one or two of these things a year. I make my own boxes. I've shown how I do that previously. So you can go back through the playlist and see how I do that. It's just, again, Super Nintendo games, PAL Super Nintendo games, don't have end labels. So they look shit on display. And, I just think these boxes, they just look a lot nicer on display. They're perfect size for the cartridges. And, you know, you can see the pictures on the back of the box. If it'll focus. If it'll focus. There we go. You can see the pictures. And you can read all the information. And it's just a much better experience than taking a blank game off the shelf. This is obviously my most recent Super Nintendo purchase. A regretful purchase, I must admit, but it's there. And then the N64 games, which have been neglected. Just because I don't have a good way to capture it. But yeah, there's not much changes in the PS1 department. You know, if I see something that I want, I'll get it. But, you know, not a whole lot there that you haven't... There's not a whole lot of PS1 games you probably haven't seen before. Alright, PS2 games. The bulk of my collection. with fucking stacks of the things waiting to go on this shelf. Honestly, a lot of my games are crap. You will see a lot of shovelware, a lot of garbage sort of games. But that's because I'm in the business of garbage games. Like if I see something like, I don't know, what's a bad, here's a bad fucking game. Heracles, Battle with the Gods. That's a terrible game, but it makes for a good video. So if I see something that looks really bad, I'm not shy to purchase it if I think I can make a video out of it. On to the original Xbox. I don't have a whole lot of games, and most of these were donations. Thank you. There's some good games here. I just haven't got around to a lot of them yet. Onto the GameCube, which was previously my most neglected system. Well, some of you with keen eyes may have noticed, or those of you who follow me on Instagram may have noticed, that I've purchased some GameCube games. Yes, for the first time since I bought the fucking thing in 2015, I have acquired some more games. Luigi's Mansion, Mario Kart Double Dash, Super Mario Sunshine, WrestleMania 19, and of course, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. I finally fucking got them for a decent price. And Nintendo Wii, I've added a few games, nothing too crazy. What have I added? I'm looking at it, I can't think of any games that are... Oh, I got that, even though I own it on PS2, and fuck motion controls. I added a lot of 360 games last year when the last video store in my area closed down, and they had a big sale. I tested a lot of those games. Some of them I didn't test, some of them I just kept secret. But I've also seen a lot of games for the 360 over the last year that I wanted to pick up. You know, stuff like Spider-Man Friend or Foe. This is a really fun game. It's co-op. It's really good. If you haven't played it. Also the Simpsons game. Now my big goal with collecting games is to collect series of stuff. Like key series that I want to own everything for. I'm not super big on like label variants or anything. I couldn't give a rat's ass about that sort of stuff. But content on the game, variants like that I'm interested in. Like the SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. It's the reason I bought a copy on the Wii, because it has different stuff in the game. The main series I'm going after are Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Tony Hawk, which I actually almost have all of the physical games. I'm missing American Skateland on the DS, and that's about it. Of course, a lot of those are like the Game Boy games are just loose carts in that binder, but I do have them. For Crash and Spyro, I want to try and get everything complete in box. And then the other thing I collect is wrestling games. I love wrestling games. I think they're really fun as a wrestling fan, but they're good games even if you're not super into wrestling, because they're great, fun, arcadey fighting games. They're fun simulation fighting games. You know, a lot of the retro games that are wrestling are interesting to look at. Born to battle. That's why no one likes you, Spyro. Now here is my comic collection. When I was a kid, I used to hate reading. I didn't mind it at school, but at home, it just didn't happen. So my nan bought me this book here. The Big Book of Bart Simpson. Simpsons Comics. These are all Simpsons comics. But this one here started it all for me. You know, because I loved The Simpsons when I was a kid. And this was Simpsons Comics. And they were just like the TV show. Now, these Simpsons comics have always been in storage with, you know, my old game magazines. But since I had the extra space on this shelf, I thought I'd finally put them on display. And then not only put them on display, I organized them into each different series and organized them chronologically by issue. So the first section is the Bart Simpson comics. The next section is Simpsons Comics. Then we have down here, oops, God, it's not the best setup, but it gets the job done. Simpsons Classics, Treehouse of Horror, and then just some mixed ones like Simpsons Futurama crossover, and the summer and winter editions. So that's just a miscellaneous on the end there. And the thing is, my thought process with finally having these on display is that I would be more likely to read them. And I actually have, in the last 2 weeks, been going back and having a flick through and rereading some of my favorite stories out of these comics. Particularly out of the Treehouse of Horror series. These are some of the coolest things I have ever seen. Treehouse of Horror, you know, Simpsons comics. These are the big ones. These are the 3 big ones I own. And these things are amazing. They have different art styles than the other comics. You can see there's some different sort of art styles. But fucking look at that! What a fucking masterpiece! It looks so awesome. Like I said, I was never big into reading, and I definitely wasn't, you know, I didn't care about Spider-Man comics, or Marvel comics, or DC comics, or fucking anything. But Simpsons comics were the fucking shit, man. I just loved them so much. So I'm glad that after all these years, you know, I can finally have them up on display here. And next door to that, again, what's traditionally been in storage is all my game magazines. Now, most of these are Xbox 360, just because that's the era when I was buying game magazines. But like this issue, for example. The Left 4 Dead 2 issue. I remember fucking reading this with my friend before the game came out, and we were just mesmerized by this fucking thing. If I can find the... Here we go. The big spread on Left 4 Dead 2. Look at that. It's great. Pages of just information. They're not in any sort of order. They're just sort of there. This one's funny. You might be able to see there's a sticky note in here. I don't know why there's a sticky note. Oh, look at that. Oops. Oh, look at that. The sticky note is on the Grand Theft Auto 5 page. Look at that. Before the game come out. Isn't that just great? Memories. And finally, right down here in the bottom corner is just all binders filled with stuff. You know, this binder in particular has all of my old video stuff. So this binder here is filled with all of my old notes from videos. There you go, there's my old Croc scripts. Along with notes for Croc Jungle Rumble on mobile, Lord of the Jungle, Midas games. Look, at 6 minutes and 6 seconds, the monkey says retarded. What the fuck, you know. Also here is these, which I want to show off. When I was a kid, and you go to school, you know, you get some cool decorative stuff for your school books. Well, this is what my school books look like. We found this crazy Crash Bandicoot like wrap paper, and I covered my books in it, and I actually found some of the books. You know, these are my actual school books with Crash Bandicoot all over them. I wish I had a roll of this stuff left over. It was sticky laminate stuff, but I wish I had some of it left over. The last of it got used to make that fucking thing. That was the last bit of the roll, and I'm pissed off because, yeah. And then here, just in a plastic protective thing, I have all the nice letters and physical artwork that you guys have sent me. If you send me an artwork, if you send me a physical artwork, I keep it safe there, and we'll actually do a photocopy to whack on the wall, just because I don't want the original getting damaged at all. So yeah, guys, that pretty much does it for the collection tour. Continuously adding up games. The official number is 748, I believe, with game 749 on the way. So it's getting crap, but that does not include all of those fucking games. So, you know, there's a lot of games. We're on our way to 4 digits for this collection, which I'm really proud of, considering I only had 100 games when I started properly collecting. We're getting there slowly but surely, and you guys sending stuff in has certainly helped to bump the numbers up here and there. So that's really awesome, thank you. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing all this stuff in a little bit more detail and, you know, exploring some of the other areas of the room and other areas of the collection, I guess, like the comics and magazines and stuff like that. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share the video. Let me know what your favourite thing was with a comment down below, and until next time, I'm Square-Eyed Jack, and I hope you have a great fucking day. Thanks for watching.